Graham Hart. What's up, y'all? All right. I wasn't gonna make any more videos today. This was unexpected. Um, Even a surprise to me, right? Hold on, let me take these headphones off. Even a surprise to me. Um, and God literally led the way on this, okay? And showed me something that I was not letting go of, right? Um, do I want to use the word unforgiveness, Holy Spirit? Yeah, we can use that word, unforgiveness, to be totally honest about the situation, right? Now, I had forgiven everything else that happened, right? In the situation, right? What other people thought would be the most important thing to me, right? What they thought meant more to me, right? That they were stealing from me, um, actually was of no value, no true value to me. Not that it was of no value, right? Because it was, right? Because a, one of those things was the house, right? That I grew up in, that I spent my childhood in, and memories with my grandfather, right? Slash father, because he was both. And the other was an inheritance, right? That my grandfather left for me. Okay. You've all heard me say this plenty of times. But they thought that that would be the thing that I cared most about, and that I would be so devastated about that I would be stuck in life, right? Um, because finding out that you're privileged, right? That you've been privileged your whole life, but you did not grow up privileged, right? As you were supposed to, okay? Because it was hidden from you, right? Now when I say that, I want to be very clear. What I mean by privileged is wealthy, right? Birthright, inheritance, right? That is attached to me, okay? Now, my grandfather did raise me in a household, in an environment that modeled royalty. It absolutely did. He even raised me militant. He was military retired. He was a military retiree. So he raised me like a soldier, literally, right? Um, and I never wanted for anything. Never. Never. Uh, had anything that I basically asked for, right? If I was deserving of it, right? There was no being overly spoiled, right? In most occasions, right? But my grandpa did spoil me, right? He loved me, right? Um, but he did not spoil me to the point where I was felt entitled or like a brat. You know what I'm saying? Um, my grandfather was really good at balance. He was really good at giving and receiving. He was really good at giving the right dose of something and to something. You get what I'm saying? Um, so while they thought that material things were going to be the thing that debilitated me, right? The thing that took me out, while that did hurt, right? It did hurt me. It did. I can't say that it didn't, right? And mostly because I didn't have to live through the struggles, through the hardship that I have been through. I didn't have to. I wasn't supposed to. But because of them, literally because of them, right? Not only because they took what was mine, right? But because they orchestrated behind the scenes disasters, catastrophes, chaos at every turn, right? And it did not have the expected result that they were shooting for. Okay. I'm trying to say this as efficient and as explanatory as I can, right? While leading into what I'm about to say. Okay. And I want to do it right because this is important to me what I'm about to say. And this is going to help me to release something that I've been holding. Okay. That the Holy Spirit just pointed out to me while I was sitting here in silence, dealing with my emotions and feelings. Um, it was something hidden that I kind of like tried to throw a sheet over, right? Uh, not like throwing something under the rug, right? But throw a sheet over it because I didn't think I was ever going to be able to have the chance to address it, right? Or say face to face to these people, right? What I wanted to say, right? So I held on to that. Um, and it did, looking at it, it did build a type of frustration and animosity within me. It did. Um, and anger, like little by little by the day. You know what I'm saying? It just piled up and piled up and piled up. I did not know that that was happening, right? Like I said, the Holy Spirit just revealed that to me. Um, but no surprise that, the video I recorded earlier, when all of this other stuff is just hitting the head and just going on, right? It's at the full bubbling of, you know, the surface that everything spills over, right? And the stuff that was hidden at the bottom is revealed. Okay. Thank you, Holy Spirit, for that explanation. Okay, because I was trying to figure out how to say that. Let me check right quick. Hold on. Okay. So, lay the groundwork. Um, and thank you, Holy Spirit, for leading me in this direction because it was definitely you. Um, and if I hadn't been paying attention, then I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys, right? But as you guys know, I am very analytical, and I think about everything that there is to be thought about, right? All the angles, all the points, all the keys, all the outcomes, the potential outcomes, right? That's how I think. And not by coincidence, because there's no such thing, right? Everything happens for a reason. I'm scrolling on my phone, right? And I come across this video, right, of this young lady who locked herself in her room and she is hurt, like distraught. Like you can hear it in her voice, okay? Something happened and it devastated her, right? Now, this thing that happened to her, that was done to her, that caused her total devastation and heartbreak, right? Lo and behold, it was the same exact thing that was done to me. The same exact thing that was done to me. Tell me that's not divinely led. Tell me that's not led by God, right? I'm gonna let you guys listen to it, and then I'm going to read what I wrote under the comments, right? Now, I did not plan, to write everything that I had written, right? I just kind of concurred with what the young lady was going through, right? And saying like that happened to me too. And you know, I was gonna write a couple lines, but then it just started to pour out of me. It started to pour out of me so much so that I couldn't stop. I couldn't stop. I had so much to say. Um, so much that I feel, so much that has been unsaid that I've been wanting to say. Just everything that I was being forced to hold back, right? And that's another thing they stole from me, right? Like it's like I didn't even have the opportunity to voice anything, right? But the Holy Spirit and my grandpa, I know that for a fact, has just laid this stage and set this platform for me to be able to say what I'm about to say. And I know my confirmation, my phone just went off. And I know my grandpa is right here, right now, in this room with me. Okay. I know it for certain. Okay. Don't care what nobody says. I know my grandpa's around me and I know when he's around me. And he's with me all the time. All of the time. And he'll never leave me. Never. Okay. So 12:22 on the timer. Confirmation. Thank you, Holy Spirit. Thanks, Gramps. Um, and what he's telling me right now is he already knows what I'm about to read to you guys about what I said. He already knows this, right? This is more for public sake, right? Um, family's betrayal sake. My phone just went off again. Confirmation. Thank you. Thanks, Gramps. The family that betrayed the both of us, right? And betrayed themselves. Um, and it's also a sort of, and this is what the Holy Spirit said to me before I press play. It's a sort of my form of a eulogy, right? Because I should have been at my grandfather's funeral. I should have been the one giving his eulogy. Me, me, no one else, right? No one else had that pull. No one else had that right. I'm his son, right? Even though I got an uncle and my mom does those his only two kids, but I'm his son. I am. Okay. So enough rambling. I'm gonna let you guys listen to this, and then I am going to speak. Right? Now keep in mind that this is, like I just said, my version of a eulogy, right? That I did not get to give at my grandfather's funeral, that I did not get to go to because it was hidden from me, because his death was hidden from me for almost a whole year and a half. Okay. So listen to this video and then I'll go into it. All right. Door. Hey, I already told you no. It's open the door. Listen, I don't do this behind the door thing. If you do not open this door, I will come in myself. What she did? In here, bother me. No. I spoke with your mother. She told me what happened. No. And then she told you and I be trying to get me. You'll be talking to her. What did she do? What did she do that was so bad that you won't open the door? Just talk to me. She didn't tell me that part. So you hear that, right? So she locked herself. And you hear the enemy trying to distract me, like somebody's knocking at my door. They're not. That's next door. Y'all hear that? Not today, say. So you hear she's locked herself in her room, right? She's distraught. She's hurt. She is devastated, right? Shocked, appalled, all of those things. Okay. Sorry, I keep looking over here, right? The camera's up there, but just don't mind that. And he's trying to get her to come out, right? And sorry, the enemy's trying to distract me. He's trying to get her to come out to talk to him, right? And she doesn't want to open the door. She doesn't want to hear it, right? I feel her. I wouldn't be opening the door either, right? And the mother tells the stepdad why she's upset, right? But she only tells him a version of the story that makes her seem like brat, right? Or you know what I'm saying? Along those lines. Okay. And she says, if you knew what she did, you wouldn't be up here talking to me. You'd be talking to her. Right? And he's like, what's so bad? What did she do so bad that's caused you to be so upset and locked you? You locked yourself in the room and you won't open the door. She couldn't even get it out at first. She slept with my boyfriend. And he says, wow. She didn't tell me that part. She said, I know she didn't. Obviously, because you're up here trying to, you know what I'm saying? What's the odds that I'm led to a video, a clip that is the same exact situation that I went through? Okay? Do you see the leading? Do you see how I'm being led here? Right? So then I go to the comments. Okay? You better not. Beloved, I was just looking for this comment on the computer because I tried to like get it on there and then read it from this, and I couldn't find it on the computer. Now I can't find it on here. You know them comments be disappearing. But the Holy Spirit is smart because you know what the Holy Spirit had me do? Copy it. You know how you highlight everything and you copy it just in case? That's what I did. See? You see how the Spirit is leading, right? So that would, even if it disappeared, I can put it right back there. Look at God. Look at God. So I'm gonna paste it, right? And I'm gonna reread it. Thank you for the confirmation. You'll pick me up. Okay. All right. Let's do it. Let's see. Boom. 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 There we go. There we go. Boy, my God is great, boy. Okay, so this is what I said. Okay. I said, my mother did the same thing to me. Slept with my fiance. I was trying to think shit what word should I use? Slept with my fiance, right? Who was a male, okay, that didn't even like women. Okay. Just to ruin our relationship. Then she paid him to emotionally abuse me and even poison me and slander me to the community and had him commit fraud and married him under my name in order to steal an inheritance that my late grandfather had left for me that I had no idea about. The worst thing is, she poisoned my grandfather and he died prematurely, right? Along with spell work. I didn't put that in there, but along with spell work. They made it look like it was of natural causes. They paid court officials to change information on documents and stole my inheritance and a property that was also left for me, which was the actual house that my grandfather raised me in. The part that really, really hurt me to this day is that they hid his death from me and stole any personal quality time that I would have had with him. I'll never get to see my grandfather again. And that breaks my heart every single day. Okay, come on, help me, Holy Spirit. I'm not trying to cry here. Help me out. Help me out. Okay, if I do, I do. And that breaks my heart every single day that I didn't get to tell him things that I really wanted to voice to my grandfather. I didn't get to tell him how much I love and appreciate him and all of the love that he instilled into me. How he taught me to always be a man of my word and to be an upstanding gentleman in the best sense of the word. To always treat others with love and respect. To give my time back to those less fortunate than me and or others. He taught me that it's not about how you are in front of other people, but it's about who you are and choose to be when nobody's looking or around to see it, right? Or you. To always walk with integrity and to always stand up for what's right and defend those who cannot defend themselves. Most of all, he loves me with an undying love that can only be represented through the Most High God. He spent quality time with me on a constant basis. Constant. We were like best friends together all the time. All of the time. I got unlimited stories about me and my grandpa. Unlimited. He spent quality time with me constantly and protected me from any and everyone that meant me no good. I will never, and this is in bold, I will never, ever get to look him in his eyes again. I'll never hear him call me by my nickname with excitement in his voice, waiting for me to respond to him with the biggest smile on my face. Sorry, y'all. Even in disciplining me, or if I got a spanking for being a major error for something I had done, he would always explain to me why I got a spanking to make sure that I had the emotional understanding and intelligence and enlightenment about the situation. This was the literal definition of it hurt him more to have spanked me than it actually hurt me to receive the spanking. And I understand those words today more than I ever have in my life. My grandfather slash father was the spitting image of God, internally and externally. And he showed up that way in public as well as behind closed doors because that's who he truly was. I love you, Gramps. I feel you in here. I feel you in here. That's how his heart was shaped. And people hated him for it. But I loved him for it and love him for it. I have never met a human being with my grandfather's spirit and rare character, even up to this day. And I know I never will as long as I live on this earth. He is all of the reason that I am who I am today. And he will be responsible for the person that I will become in the future. I am the only one that carries the spirit of my grandfather that's still walking on God's green earth. And the family, and especially his grown children, in parentheses, including my mother, hated me for it and hated my grandfather for instilling it within me. Grandpa, now this is to my grandfather. Grandpa, you were and you are my one. Those in quotations. You were and you are my one. You will always be my one and only. I think about you all day, every day, and I feel you around me all of the time. I had a sec- I had secret plans in mind to make you extremely proud by giving you back everything you've ever cultivated within me from a space of pure love. Through my life's accomplishments and achievements that are only possible because you first loved me. And this is the love of God within us. I love you always and forever. And my children, their children, and their children's children will be raised up, loved, disciplined, and to be the most creative, outspoken, respectful, brave, intelligent, bold, and courageous people that this world has ever had the privilege of seeing with their own two eyes. You can never be replaced in my heart or in this world. And the essence of who you are slash were will be carried on to live through the future generations that are birthed from my loins, and it will never die. I feel such a sense of release. I swear on everything I love right now. I feel such a sense of release. That's the best word that I can grab onto. Now I could have wrote forever. I could have typed forever. I literally could have typed forever. Right? Holy Spirit would say, that's good, that's cool. That's the type of person that my grandfather was. I could talk about him forever and still not run out of things about him. And that just tells you the what's the word I'm looking for? that just tells you like the grit and the light that was within him, right? The passion, the just everything molded into one, right? Like my family used to try, especially my mom, my family used to try to convince me that my grandfather disciplining me was abuse, so that I would look at him in a different way or turn against him. When I was a kid, yeah. We used to try to manipulate me all the time against him and everything. And was actually responsible for me not contacting my grandfather, right? And I'm not putting it all on them, right? Some is on me because I'm my own person, right? But being manipulated for your whole life, right? Um, I lost some years, and that's what stings the worst. That stings the most. I lost I lost some years with my grandfather because I stayed away, right? I left home and I stayed away for a long time because of what I thought was true. That was never true. That was never true. And I still feel bad about that. I still feel bad about that. Like that breaks my heart to this day. And I know my grandfather is he's like, it's okay, right? But that leaves a mark. I can't get that back. And to know that his own daughter did that because of jealousy and envy and whatever else, we can never get that back. Right. I think all the time of what we could have filled that space with, right? All the time I was gone from home. There's plenty of things that we would have, right? But I know the things we used to do when I was younger growing up, like I try to compare that to what type of things we might have, you know, what type of different things we might have done since I was older, right? If I would have had that time was like we never got to have a drink together. You know what I'm saying? As an adult, we never got to have a drink together. We never just a whole bunch of stuff we never got to do together as I was an adult. And I never got to see him. The last time I saw my grandfather was at his son's wedding, my uncle's wedding, right? I don't even like to call him my uncle, but just for reference here. It was at my uncle's wedding, and he was so happy to see me. I was so happy to see him too, but Holy Spirit showing me right now that day. I walk in the doors, right? And man, God sets everything up. I walk into the doors, okay? And I'm like the last one to get there to the wedding, right? The reception. I walk through the doors and I make a right. And the first person I see and lock eyes with, all the way at the other end of the room, far corner, is my grandpa. The first person I see in it was like a magnet, right? The first person I saw my grandpa. And the excitement on his face and how happy he was to see me. I can't, I can't, I can't explain it. I can't mimic it. I just, I have that memory. It's forever etched in my mind. Thank God I have that and all the other memories. Sorry it's so long, y'all, but not sorry at the same time because Grandpa get all the time he get all the time that he deserves. And that's what they were jealous of. Family, my mom, my uncle, that, that, if you get what I mean. Like, that was the bond, the connection that me and my grandpa had. If y'all haven't noticed by now or couldn't tell by now, 36, 36 on the timer, my grandfather was also a chosen one. Also, it's clear as day to see that. I mean, I knew that a while ago, but it's as clear as day. And he was the one that always told me since a child. He called me Mooey. That was his nickname. Moo Dog or Mooey. He got it from that Star Wars movie, Jar Jar Binks. He used to say, Mooey, Mooey, Jar Jar Binks, right? That's where he got that name Mooey from. So that was my nickname. He used to call me Mooey. And he'd yell it all the way from the other end of the house. Moo Dog! And then I'd come down in the hallway and stuff with a big old smile. And I know that depending on the tone of him, how he calls me, right? Different levels of excitement. I know if he got me a new pair of shoes, or if we were going to the movies, or if we were about to go get our sleeping bags and get and go camp out on the roof, right? Because in California, the roofs are they're not as slanted or whatever, right? So in the summertime, me and my grandfather used to we used to get our sleeping bags and we used to camp out on the roof, right? Looking at the stars, right? That's what he used to do when he was a kid, right? So he did the things that he did as a kid with me, right? And we would do that every summer, and that was something me and him would do, and only me and him. Like they were jealous of of how my grandfather raised me. You know, uh, it was special in every sense of the word. We always spent time together, always, always. We'd have movie nights where we'd both make a pallet. We'd make a big old pallet on the floor in the living room in front of the big screen TV by the fireplace, and we'd set the pillows up all around like in a square or whatever. So we'd have like plush and we can lean back and stuff. We have snacks or whatever. What he called zuzums and wham whams, right? And we would have just a whole bunch of stuff just around us, right? Watching our favorite was kung fu movies, right? Bruce Lee. Uh, but we would watch all type of movies, kung fu movies. We would watch. Our favorite movie to watch was People Under the Stairs, and National Lampoons. Chevy Chase. National Lampoons, all the Christmas and all that stuff. Wally World. And he collected movies, right? The VHS tapes. He had every single movie that was ever made in the VHS tape. He had a room in a closet just for the tapes. That's my grandpa. That's where I get all of my traits and my habits from, right? I have the same traits and same habits, right? I stock up on things, right? Just in case of a rainy day. I collect certain things. Um, what else? We used to go to Hometown Buffet. Like up here it's called Old Country Buffet, but in Sacramento it's called Old Town Buffet, right? And we used to go there like every Saturday, just me and him, and we used to pig out, right? And my first plate would always be green jello, right? I would get a salad, right? With a grip of cheese on it, olives, ranch dressing, croutons, and right next to the salad, dipped all in the ranch dressing, green jello. Green jello. That was always my starter plate. And then I would my second plate would be, and it was the same every time. My second plate would be mashed potatoes, gravy, macaroni and cheese. Every time. Every time. And we did that every Saturday. Every Saturday. We would go to Fresno, uh, to his wife's son's house or whatever for holidays and stuff. And we would travel, we would do everything. He kept me out of the streets. He always had me involved in sports year round. I played baseball every year, played football every year. There was never a dull moment, right? He was not gonna let me get taken by the streets by a bullet or by the prison system. He was not gonna allow that to happen. And he didn't. And I love him dearly for that. He literally shaped my future. He protected my future. He shaped it and he protected it. Confirmation. Thank you. I told you my gramps was in here. He protected my future and he shaped it. And then was like, here you go. Go ahead. I already said I got you there. You got it. You got this. Right? And he used to always say, you the one. You're the one. Right? Like they call Neo the one. He used to always say that. You're the one. And I did not know why he said that. I was what? I thought he was not crazy, but I was like, Grandma, what? I used to be being goofy or something, right? He used to always tell me that. Always. He never failed to tell me that. He used to always tell me that. Even after I would get a spanking or something, right? And he talked to me, explained to me why, and take me out, for ice cream or whatever, or get my favorite snack. He would always tell me, "You are the one. You are the one." He knew something that I did not know. Chosen one, maybe. Today, I understand what that means, and I understand what he knew and how he raised me. My grandpa understood the assignment. As people of this generation like to say, my grandfather understood the assignment. Can I say that? Can I say that? Say that. I think Gramps wanted me to say that. Yeah, he did. He nudged me to say it. So, okay, I'll say it. I'll say it. He's 4404. I just saw the clock. So my grandpa used to have, right? Okay, so real quick, and then I'm gonna end the video. He's an animal lover, right? We both are, right? But the creepy crawly ones, I'm not so much loving of, right? He was, okay? Didn't matter what type of animal, whatever. So he bought me a tarantula, right? I had a whole room full of reptiles and amphibians and stuff, and a whole monitor lizard, and like huge. We had to feed rats and stuff, and I had scorpions. I had geckos. Um, what was the other? Tarantulas. What else do we have in there? I think a few other ones, but the one that he wanted me to mention, right? That's funny. Um, what was his name? Lucy. Lucy. Is that what you said? You said Lucy. I heard Lucy. I believe that's it. I think yeah, it is. So he had a was it a parrot or a parakeet? Whichever one it was, you can teach the bird how to speak, right? You can teach the bird how to speak, right? So my grandpa was funny this way. So he got the bird, right? And this was all off of the strength 45, 45 on the timer confirmation. This was all on the strength of him having the vision in his mind of how funny it will be, right? If he did this certain thing, right? And I think this is the whole reason that he even got the bird in the first place, right? Yeah, he loved animals, right? But he got the bird for this specific reason, right? Just so he can get laughs and kicks and giggles, right? Every time this bird did this. Okay. You know, oh, boy, this picture gets to something else. Okay. He just said it was a form of payback. I heard payback. But let's find a better word. It was a form of getting even, right? Through laughter. Confirmation. Thanks, Gramps. It was a form of getting even through 46, 46 on the timer. Confirmation. It was a form of getting even with other people, right? That my grandfather knew that they always had something to say, right? People that talk behind his back, people that my grandfather he wasn't stupid, he knew, but even family, right? So it just cracked him up, right? Whether it be out loud or on the inside, right? He taught this bird, listen, now I'm hearing that little, I think it's a Little Wayne song. It's called F U. The cuss word F U. F U, F U, F U, F U. It might not be Lil Wayne, it might be somebody else, but that's what my grandpa's giving me right now. As a what's it called? As a clue, right? Not a clue, but he's trying to be funny. Okay, thank goodness. I got you, Gramps. He's trying to be funny to me, right? Uh, but that's what he taught the bird to say. F you, right? Amongst other things, right? But the main thing he taught the bird to say was fuck you. Right? I ain't gonna say the whole word, but that's what the bird sounded like. He was like, fuck you. Every time somebody said hi to the bird said, "Fuck you." And the only people that the bird didn't say that to was me and my grandpa. Only two people the bird did not say that to was me and my grandpa. Every animal that we ever had, from Rottweiler to German Shepherd to mm, uh, Wiener Dog, Duchess. We had a dog, Wiener Dog named Duchess. Enemy is a fool. You just don't want me to say nothing, huh? Every dog, every animal, well, except for the reptiles and stuff, right? But the more intelligent animals, right? They treated me and my grandfather with love and respect and know-how, kindness, right? Like an animal treats its owner, right? Um, like a mom or a dad, right? Me and my grandfather were treated like that by the animals, but the animals did not treat anybody else like that. You get what I'm saying? Nobody in the family, right? Even my oma, right? My grandfather's wife. Her name's Christina. Even my oma, right? She was scared of my Rottweiler, right? His name is Yuri. He was a big old German Rottweiler, right? Mean too, mean. He was a beast. Like he was a beast. Okay. Rest in peace, Riri. But he was a sweetheart to me, and my grandpa. Like eh, he would like the tough exterior and the beast in him, right? He would turn into a little infant, right? He would turn into a little fluff ball, right? When it came to me and my grandpa, right? Everybody else was afraid of the dog, and the dog knew it, and the dog used to mess with them. Like this was everyday life for us. Can you imagine growing up in my household with my grandfather, and you know the stories that I'm telling you, right? Man, so I love my grandpa so much, amongst many other reasons. That's why I love my grandpa so much. And I'm gonna close it on this. Thanks, Gramps. You're reminding me, you're giving me a nudge to say it. And I didn't find this out until later on when I was older, right? I had always thought that I was born by accident, right? Or my mom got pregnant with me by accident, right? I had always thought that, right? Because of certain stories I had been told, you know? Even there was a story about me supposed to be, my mom was supposed to abort me, right? Um, but she didn't end up going through with it, right? She faked it and hid it or whatever until she showed, right? I was supposed I almost died when I was in her womb because my uncle, her brother, kicked her in the stomach hard. He did it on purpose and tried to do that, right? I did not die. I almost died when I was born, probably like a few months old. No, it probably wasn't even that old because I was with my grandpa since an infant. Maybe a month old, right? My mom left me in the crib with my bottle, and I choked and I turned blue and I wasn't breathing, right? And I lived through that. And there were a lot of near death experiences through my life, but I lived. Um, but I digress, right? My grandfather told me that I was on purpose. 52, 52 on a timer. Do you see those confirmations? Thank you, Gramps. I love you so much. Thank you. Didn't I tell you he's here? Didn't I tell you he's here? That's what helps me with my sadness sometimes. Knowing knowing that he's around me all the time. And he communicates with me and lets me know that he's there. What an amazing experience to have. I can't even describe it. But he told me that I was on purpose. Okay. Meaning the reason that he had me since basically I was born, right? I might have spent a month with my mom, a month, right? And not even a full month. It's on and off, right? Um, so since 2 months old, my grandfather has had me and been raising me. My mom had me to give to him. He told me that they had worked out I don't know how. I don't want to try to get exact details because I don't know exact details, so I don't just want to misconstrue some stuff. But I don't know how the conversation went. But basically, my grandfather wanted another son. He wanted another son, right? And I can't put words in his mouth and say why, but I'm assuming part of that reason was, and not that he didn't love my uncle. He loves my uncle to death. Um, but my uncle's different. He's different. Just like my mom. Okay, they're their mothers. They're their mother's children. Say that. And he told my mom he wanted another son, right? And this might have been The okay, intuitive feeling. He's giving me an intuitive nudge. Okay, this was while she was pregnant, right? So it wasn't a before she got pregnant, so she didn't go out and get pregnant and then give them me, right? Which makes more sense. Thanks, Grams. She was already pregnant with me, right? Okay, and it ties into the abortion and hiding the abortion, right? Because she was supposed to get the abortion, but she lied and said she got it, but didn't. But she started showing later, right? So, okay, it makes sense. The conversation comes up, right? And it was decided that my grandpa wanted me, right? Before I was even born, my grandpa wanted me. And that's exactly what happened, right? 55, 55 on the timer. Sorry, I'm sad. But more than on the earthly plane, right? More than a human to human conversation, go higher than that. Go even higher than that. Okay? God ordained that. God ordained everything to happen as it happened. I was not supposed to be raised by my mother, even though I lived with her through short stints later on, like middle school and stuff or whatever, right? And I mean short stints. 3 months, 6 months, I'm back at my grandpa's, right? Um, but it was always written that my grandfather was supposed to raise me. That me and my grandfather was supposed to spend a good portion of our lives together, learning and teaching and experiencing, right? It was already written, already. Well, it makes sense what he used to call me the one. It makes all the sense today, all of the sense, because he knew he was chosen, and he knew I was, and I'm firmly, overly convinced that he talked with God regularly. I had a relationship with God as a child, so I know he did. I know he did. And the only knowing that I had that it was God that would in his presence that would enter my room when I was a kid, when I was crying or when I was sad. And it was every time. There was not one time I was sad or crying or scared or something, and the presence of the Holy Spirit did not enter the room. I may not have known, right, by definition of words and explanations, that that was God or that was the Holy Spirit, but my spirit knew it. You get what I'm saying? My intuition knew it, right? And you know what I would do? As soon as the presence of the Holy Spirit would enter the room, it would come through the corner of the room too. I remember it was this corner actually in the back. But I felt the presence come in the room, right? Let's say I'd be sitting there crying, bawling my eyes out. Like I used to do this, rock back and forth. And the presence of God would come in the room and I would feel it. And I'm talking stronger than I feel it today as an adult. Because you know when you're a kid, you're more connected, right? I would feel the presence of God come in there, and his presence alone would just push out everything that was not like him, right? The crying would stop instantly. I would forget about what I was crying about, right? Because all of my focus went to the presence that entered the room, right? I couldn't see it, but I could feel it, and I knew it was there, and I knew where it was. You get what I'm saying? So me being a child, right? Through my intellect, right? Because just like I think and I speak to you guys now, I thought and spoke this way as a child, believe it or not. I got in trouble a lot with other family members because they used to treat me bad and I would stand up for myself. 4, 5, 6 years old, I would stand up for myself and that would piss them off. Piss them off. My intelligence would piss them off. The 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 fact that I had the balls to say it to them, to defend myself, would piss them off. Got beaten over it, had black eyes over it, got beaten up in front of the whole family over it. But I always defended myself. I never backed down. Yeah, I'm a kid. You can do what you want to me. Yeah, I'm a kid, right? And it was never in the presence of my grandfather. Let me make that abundantly clear. Okay, it was never in the presence of my grandfather. Never. He would have smashed all of them like bugs. All of them. Okay. Um, this always happened away from my home, right? At the times when I did get to go to the family functions, right, which was every blue moon. Okay. When I did get to go, right, they would make fun of me and they would bully me and they would treat me like I was adopted, right? And I would spend most of my time in the room by myself, in somebody's room, right? At Thanksgiving and stuff, whatever. I wouldn't even be out in the main places in the house with the rest of the family. Everybody would always find me somewhere in the room with the door closed, talking. Well, what they said, I was talking to myself. The 10111 on the timer. They said I was talking to myself, right? But I now know that I was talking to either God or his angels. I've always been spiritually connected to that, spiritually connected in that way. And I knew that since a young age. I've experienced way too much supernatural things not to know a lot about supernatural things, right? And they knew I was special. They knew I was different. That's why they treated me the way that they did, because I didn't act like any of them. I was my own person, even as a child. I'm sorry this is going on so long, but like I said before, sorry, not sorry, right? Somebody needs to hear something that I'm saying, okay? 10203, okay? Come on now, I'm on the money. Um, but yeah, they hated me for being myself, right? And I had a big old hook head, right? Skinny, had this high pitched voice, right? Uh, the kids are like their heads are bigger than their bodies, right? And so they used to make fun of me for that and stuff, and like it was constant torture and bullying and abuse. It just it was horrible, beloved. It was horrible. Like I look back, confirmation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Another confirmation. My life. So I look back now, right? Like now, especially since my spiritual gifts have height, right, to the level that they are now. I can literally, it's like looking through a portal, right? It's not as hard to see it as it was before. I can start talking about it, and then I can literally, basically, it's like looking through a portal at the time that I'm speaking of, right? So I can see myself sitting there playing the fire truck with a white t-shirt on and some khaki pants with some black and white checkered bands. Literally. Like that's how clear it is, right? I even remember who the person was that walked in the room and opened the door and said something to me about being alone in the room and not being in the common areas with everybody else. You know what I'm saying? Um, but I look back now, right? And how do I say this? So many things are so much more clear, right? Because I look back, right? Like I said, it's like going through a portal, right? I look back and I place myself back there as an adult, though, right? I place myself back there as an adult, and the little kid me is there, right? But I'm sitting there as an adult, pondering and looking and observing at all of these other adults that decided it was okay and made it a mission to treat this one child that didn't bother anybody. That was the sweetest kid in the world. I was the sweetest kid in the world. I was. I was. I really was. Um, it just it's like it's a shameful observation, right? Not for me, for them, right? Because it's like that's why I said I went back there and put myself there as an adult because I'm looking at all these other adults with all their other adult brains, right? And their adult experiences through life and how shameful. How shameful. They had no idea how it felt to be ostracized, how it felt to be um picked on and bullied because you're different, right? And they should have known that because we're a mixed family, right? My great grandmother's white and her mother's white, right? So they should understand that dynamic, right? Uh, but hey, but it's just being just putting myself back there as an adult, being in that environment. It makes me hold my head down and shake my head, right? With my hands folded, right? Because it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever at all. It does not make any sense. That all of you people, a family full of people, did this one child like that for no reason at all, other than you knew that they were special, that you knew that they were chosen. Like it's obvious, they knew that I had a special type of intellect. They knew that I wasn't the ordinary. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't the ordinary kid at all by far. I possessed gifts that were beyond my years, right? That's why to me, ever since I can remember, I've always spoken like this. I've always had the same kind of thinking that I had as a kid. And I know that might be hard to believe, but swear on everything I love. As much as I love the most I got, that is true. That is true. My intellect works today just like it worked back then. I think about things in depth and in detail and with precision today just like I did back then. And this is not to brag, you know. It's the truth. It's the truth. And it's sad that they saw that as a fear, something that they needed to stomp out. They tried to eradicate the light that I carried. They tried to eradicate it, destroy it by feeding me to the child molesting cousin. It's like everybody was playing a part. While I was a kid thinking that nobody knew, nobody noticed, I was just like, well, how does nobody know? How does nobody know? Everybody's always around. They put me in the bathroom at family gatherings and disappear. Nobody knows. Every last one of them do. So every last one of them knew, except for my grandmother. My grandma wrote, oh, the my white grandmother to yeah, for the first my great great grandmother, my grandmother's mother. She loved me the most. She loved me the most. Besides my grandpa, everybody hated that too. She used to yell at everybody. She used to yell at everybody and cuss everybody out. Not me. She never cussed me out. She never yelled at me. She didn't. She didn't. She recognized me. She recognized me. And as a kid, I recognized her, just like I recognized my grandfather. They were like my angels. Like they gave me the nourishment, the emotional part that I didn't get from anybody else. They gave it to me. The attention, the love, the attentiveness, they gave it to me. The passion, they gave it, and we're connected. I'm about to get off of here. Me, my grandfather, and my grand, we're connected in certain ways that are uncanny, right? That are undeniable, right? It's like we're a sort of soulmate, right? I know for sure my grandma and my grandfather, they were both part of my soulmate tribe, both of them. 111, 21. My favorite basketball player of all time is Allen Iverson. Always has been, always will be. Do you know who my grandmother was in love with? First of all, she's a white woman that loved black men. Okay, and she would let you know it, right? Because my other side of the family, they're very prejudiced, very. Okay, um, but she loved Allen Iverson, loved him. She had paper clippings cut out of him hanging up in her room, like in her mirror, and and she will let you know it. What's the odds that my favorite basketball player had the same type of passion for him as my favorite player as she does as a crush? Do you see this? That's the spiritual coinciding. Do you see that? It's like a spiritual marker, right? It's like a spiritual marker, like a flag, leading you or showing you who you are connected to, who you are supposed to be connected to, right? And um, my grandfather, the same thing, right? Although I may have had more with him, right? Because he raised me. But it wasn't no different with my grandma. No different with my grandma, right? Now I can look back at my life now and I can see all of the things that God set up around me. I can see everything that He set up around me. It was all orchestrated. He had two angels in the midst of a family of devils. Okay. Mm, And me just saying that, Holy Spirit just gave me the picture of the two angels that came into Sodom and Gomorrah to go get Lot's nephew. Mm, Look at that. The two angels, my great grandmother and my grandpa. They came and got me out of Sodom and Gomorrah before God destroyed it. I love you guys, beloved. Okay. Um, I feel I feel a little better, right? More than a little better than I did earlier. And that was by design. I know it was because my grandpa, he don't like me to be sad. Did not tell, man, Gramps, thank you for confirming every time I say, thank you for confirming. Thank you. See how he got my back? Do you see how he has my back? Do you see how he has my back? Even in the afterlife. That is amazing to me. That is amazing to me. I don't, other people, I don't, to me, that's everything. That is amazing to me. That even in the afterlife, my grandfather is here with me, walking with me. Couldn't ask for nothing better. couldn't ask for anything better. That is the ultimate gift. And thank you, Abba, for that gift. That is the ultimate gift, at least to me, because God knows how much I love my grandpa and how much he loves me. Sorry, my grandma's around me too. The grandma Ro, that's why it had me mention her. Okay, sorry, grandma. I love you too. You know that. Confirmation. Got that juice, boy. Got that juice. Okay, that picked me up. That picked me up a whole lot more. That picked me. You see? Do you see how my loved ones? Okay, and they're not the only ancestors that are around me. Okay, there are some ancestors around me that I'm not familiar with. I wasn't familiar with in life, right? Because I wasn't even born yet, right? But I know they're there too, right? They have subtle ways of letting me know. Subtle ways of letting me know. I've even had my grandpa and grandma introduce me to other ancestors I didn't even know in life. Isn't that something? Right? It happens in certain type of ways, right? It's not like me and you were talking right now, right? But they do it in a way that I understand it. You get what I'm saying? They do it in a way that I will understand it. And I'll pick it up like that, right? Because they know me. They know me, right? And overall, above that, God knows me because He made me. That's how they communicate to me, right? Sometimes it might be a thought implanted, right? Sometimes it might be a swift kick in the butt, right? That's happened too, right? Forced and being hard headed, right? But that just made my day. That made my day. They just showed out. They just showed out in this video. Um, I'm gonna get off. I don't even want to get off. I'm just, but I'm gonna get off because this is an hour 17. I think I said everything that I was supposed to say. Uh, hold on. Give me a sec. I feel a download coming, and that is distinctive. Oh, let me. Okay, say it like that. Yes, ma'am. This is for family that's watching me right now. Whenever you do see this video, because you're gonna see it 1:18:18 on the timer. I was just told so. You're gonna see it. Um, then this is straight from the horse's mouth, as you like to say. Grandma Rowe just said out of her own mouth or spirit, however you communicate, word for word, just said they are the reason for your downfall. They meaning my grandpa, Grandma Rowe, other ancestors that have passed away that are around me, specific ones that are around me, protecting me. Confirmation. Did you hear that honk outside? Stop playing. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. Don't play with it. This ain't a game. This ain't a game. You heard that horn honk. You heard that whistle. Come on now. And on the TV it says the family business. Get out of here. Get out of here. Get out of here. Not you. Get out of here. Grandma Rowe just said they are the reason for your downfall, right? Meaning, let me clarify. We know how y'all like to be tricky. Meaning, you're the reason for your downfall because of what you did. Okay? What Grandma Rowe meant is they're the ones who stopped you from doing what you had already had set in motion. They were watching you the whole entire time, giving you spiritual nudges to do the right thing the whole entire time, letting you know that they were unsatisfied with your behavior here in life. Right? Thinking, remember, just thinking because they had passed away. Excuse me, not they. This is singular. Thinking that when she had passed away, so this is before my grandfather even passed away. Thinking that because she passed away, that it was okay to do the evil and the wicked and the malicious backstabbing things that you guys were doing. Let alone to family. I mean, let alone to other people, but to your family. Your family. The family that she created. Y'all hear them birds whistling out there? Those are confirmations for me from what she's saying to me right now. Word for word. She said, you thought that you guys could pull the wool over the eyes of the spiritual realm. That's exactly what she just said. You thought you can pull the wool over the eyes of the spiritual realm, cloaking yourself from God. I just heard, how dare you? You hear those birds? You hear those birds outside whistling. You hear them. And I'm repeating exactly what I'm hearing her say. How dare you? How dare you? Sorry, y'all, for y'all to have been here since the beginning. Y'all ain't gotta stay. Hey, this is the second half. This is for the family. Okay, I didn't know that this was gonna happen, so I'm just following. I'm just following, leading. Um, yeah. She said that there has not been a single moment that A, they have not been watching you, and B, they have not been involved in everything that's been going on behind the scenes. Even when you were bribing judges and attorneys, police officers, and traveling overseas to do spell work, to pay for spell work. Excuse me. Thank you. Traveling overseas to pay for spell work. Death spell work. One, two, three, four, five on my timer. Mm, mm, mm. Mm, 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 mm. She said she was right there with you on that plane, right there with you, going to see the Obia man. I don't know. That's what I just heard. The Obia man. Going to see the Obia man. Every step of the way, Grandma Rowe was right there. This is wild. Who? Doesn't matter who. Okay. I don't know them. I guess that's why she said that. I don't know them, but four. She said that, and I think this is the end of it because I don't. Yeah, I'm feeling like a cutoff. She said that you have angered You have angered. Say that. Say it again, Grandma. You have angered certain passed over loved ones that were actually resting. You have angered them like to the highest point. You've awakened them from their sleep, from their resting place, and they're angered because you've awakened them. How? Through doing spell work, through doing black magic, conjuring spirits and trying to control them to do your bidding. A lot of you are in some serious spiritual trouble, literal trouble too, in the 3D, but serious spiritual trouble. And I'm just giving you exactly what I'm hearing. You are in some serious spiritual trouble. For they know not what they do, but they did it anyway. That's exactly, I swear on everything. That's what I just heard. For they know not what they do, but they did it anyway. So that means, thank you, Grandma, give me the translation. So that means they had no idea what they were dabbling in. They thought that they did. Okay. They had no idea what they were messing with, what they were playing with. Okay. And in doing that, they did something totally unexpected. They caused something totally that they were unexpecting, that they weren't expecting. Thank you. Right? Because you're dabbling in messing with things that you think you have an understanding of, but you really do not. Right? So whatever you're doing, right, or have done, you think that it's just this, but no. On a broader scale, you're causing damage in the spiritual realm. Damage, havoc, chaos. And it's going to be taken out on you, on your children, on your children's children, depending on how many generations that God allows it to go down. But that's your and their plight to deal with now. You didn't think about some grandma is mad. You hear the tone in my voice, right? That's her. She is pissed because you did so much reckless, took so many reckless actions, right? The first one being trying to kill me. Okay. That was the first thing that sent the fury and the anger and the being mad. Okay. Let me. But on the other hand, you didn't think about any of your children. You didn't think about any of your children when you were doing what you were doing to try to harm my child. Her words, not mine. She's talking about me. My child. When she said my child. Just in case y'all didn't know. That's how the divine our Passover loved ones, ancestors, right? That's how they refer to us. Okay, just in case you're wondering. That's how they refer to us. Okay. My child, right? You're their baby. Okay. Just in case you're wondering, right? Somebody's wondering, that's why I had to say that. But that's how they refer to us, right? We're their baby, right? Um and they're mad. They are mad. Furious. Furious. You thought she can get mad in life when she was living on this side of the spectrum? You have no idea. You have no idea the wrath. I'm feeling it. I'm feeling it. It's like heat. It's like fire in my bones. I feel it. I'm heating up right now. Literally as I'm speaking. And my palms are sweaty. Okay, I will. Okay, that's it. That's it. She just told me to pray for the kid, pray for my cousins and stuff. I will. I will. Um, she said that because of what she just said, which what you just you did things recklessly, not thinking about anybody else, but not even thinking about yourselves because you put yourself in hot water as well. But the kids, you didn't care about the kids. You didn't care about what happened to the kids. You put the kids basically heads in a guillotine to 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 try to appease your ego and your greed for something that never belonged to you in the first place. Never, never. I would say I pray for y'all, but grandma didn't say that. She didn't say that. She said pray for the kids. She said pray for the kids. That lets me know that it's too far gone. It's too far gone. But I love you guys, beloved. All right, let me get off of here. While I'm not hearing anything else. But wow, that was totally unexpected. I did not expect that. Wow. Okay. Wow. I love you guys, beloved. All right. I hope whoever needed to hear something in that message heard it, and um, I hope you got your confirmations, or I hope a weight was lifted off of you. Me saying this means that it was okay. I know that, but I'm telling you that. Um, yeah. So love you guys, beloved. All right. Thank you for sitting with me for an hour and almost 33 minutes. Okay. I know some of y'all, your staying power is kind of, but anytime I come up here, I take into account not wasting people's time. You know what I'm saying? So that's always in the back end, the front of my mind, right? Everything I bring up here to say, right, am led to say, and everything between, I try to make sure that as much of it is substance and manna, right, as much as it's supposed to be, right? I don't like to waste people's time. I don't like to, do you know what I'm saying? So, even if you didn't stay this long, you may have got what you need to hear earlier in the video, right? But for those other people, they might hear what they need to hear at the end of the video. You know what I'm saying, right? So that's it. That's it. I love y'all. I love y'all. Let me get off of here, Frank. They just won't shut up. All right, later. Peace.